We're going to go through all the staples, or most of the staples. If I say all, then someone's going to obviously pop up in the comments and be like, "You forgot." I'm like, oh, well, you're right. No, darn. Video invalid. All the work, just, throw it in the trash. Took a look at all of the staple cards I think that matter right now, and I came up with a list. And then just to double check myself, I created a post yesterday asking some of the fine folks out there in YouTube land what they thought were some of the better option cards or some of the cooler option cards in the game right now, just to double check myself, and also got some really fun comments out of it. We'll take a look at some of those a little bit later. But I want to go through some of those. We're going to rank them in minimum 5 tiers. So I got them separated by Digi-Eggs, Digimon, options, and then Tamers. So we'll go through each of those, I guess, groupings. But I guess before I start any of this, we kind of have to define what a staple is. So when I say a staple in Digimon, I think it's a little bit different than other card games. Like if I think of Pokemon, any trainer card can basically become a staple because they can just slot into anything. But with Digimon, you've got this whole color thing that makes the whole idea of a staple a little bit trickier. So I've kind of loosened the reins of like what a staple is, just because Digimon kind of forces you to do that. So I said, okay, a staple has to be used at minimum across many decks of at least the same color, right? If you can run a card in like a bunch of green decks and they're all like, it's really good in all of those decks, then I'd say that's like a staple for green, right? One good example here might be like the BT1 Mimi Tamer lets you hatch outside of just the breeding phase, or move a Digimon from the breeding area to the battle area, which is, a godsend. And it's crazy that was a BT1 card and it's still like unmatched to this day. But there's a second like definition here that I kind of want to use as well, and that's like not just cards that are good in one color, but if a card can be used across multiple colors but is like tied into a kind of like thematic archetype, we might say that's also a staple. For example, Cool Boy might be a staple for all X antibody decks, or most X antibody decks. Just being able to gain extra memory for any time you evolve to the same level, which is like Digimon plus the X antibody Digimon, it's always going to be really good. And folks didn't want him to stick around all those ban requests, but unfortunately that didn't happen for them. So those are the two ideas that I'm going with. So good across the same color, but also good across a huge like theme. All right, so with that being said, let's take a look at a couple of these. Let's go and pop these here. All right, so we got a couple of Digi-Eggs here. Digi-Eggs are pretty great, but there's not a lot of... They feel like they are pretty like thematically focused right now. All right, so Demi-Meramon. For folks who don't know, Demi-Meramon, this guy is really useful in decks that run like big stuff. So whenever this Digimon, I believe, is deleted, you can pitch a level 5 or higher from your hand and then just draw 2 cards. So if you run a bunch of big stuff in there, Demi-Meramon's pretty good. But outside of big decks, he's not super amazing, right? If you're running like a regular deck where you have like 5 or 6 level 6s and like 8 level 5s, Demi-Meramon, nah. Unless you're like pulling him back somehow. We know how purple can be. So really simple. He's okay, but he's not great across everything. He's like more like thematically focused. So we're gonna drop Demi-Meramon here, right in a good old B. Nice and simple, right? Maybe C actually. I would say something in the higher tiers here, you could pretty much run in any deck and it's really good in all of them. Whereas things that are in D, you can't run in much stuff, but you maybe like want 1 or 2 copies, and it's like useful sometimes. Another one here, Doraemon. So Doraemon was one of my favorite cards in Machine Dramon decks, because when you slotted cards up underneath your sources, you got to draw more cards. And yeah, Machine Dramon did that for a time. The good old days, right? This is really good because it also slots incredibly well with its own line, the Alphamon stuff. But if we're thinking about just a staple, I don't want to rate this too highly because I have to be careful of like the power scaling, right? Once we get up to the S's and the B's. That's fair. Mind Link is 1 free draw every turn. That's true. All right, we'll stick it in B. We'll stick it in B. Just because the fine folks out there caught me with the Mind Link. That's right. Well, speaking of Mind Link, we're supposed to be getting more secret support in the future, which is crazy to me. I thought that series was like over. They said A tier for Doraemon. No, they're tripping. They don't know. It's fine. Next up is Gumimon. Gumimon, I believe, was whenever... The problem with green eggs is like there's only a couple of them and they just run through them like over and over again. There's like 2 or 3 Gumimons now, right? When attacking, if you have a green Tamer, like draw 1 card. What a low ass threshold if you just have a Tamer. And like pretty much every green deck has a Tamer, right? I can't think of one that doesn't really mess with Tamers at all. Bugs have Izzy, and if they don't run like a thematically good Tamer, then they can just pop in a Mimi. Spoilers. I'm trying to really think of like the green decks that don't have a Tamer in there. Rapid has Henry and the Chinese Tamers, or the other Chinese girl. I forget her name. It's so good. It's like it's just as good as Doremon, right? You're basically drawing every single turn. Yeah, nice and easy. Next up is Tokomon. This guy was a menace back in Yellow Vaccine because I saw this guy like every other game. Basically, whenever your security increases, is it increases or decreases? Yeah, when a card is added to your security stack, draw a card, yeah. All right, I kind of do myself a favor, not think about how good a card was in the past, but how useful and how great it is now. The Angels deck does do pretty well, but outside of that, Tokomon doesn't see a ton of use right now, I think, for yellow decks. I'm like trying to really think of yellow decks in the game right now, and it's like Arisa, like the puppet stuff with Sandrymon, Angels. It feels like Tokomon is actually taking a hit because of how it's only really good in yellow decks. So yeah, I think for now I'm actually gonna put it in D. I'm asking because you have to run a deck that's also security focused. And while yellow does do that thematically, it feels like recently that's not really been the case. I mean, outside of the vaccine deck that just abused the shit out of it. All right, next up, Tsunomon. So this guy, holy crap! Whenever you discard a card, draw a card. Why? Who printed it? Wait, what set was he from? What set was this Tsunomon from? Was it EX5? No, it's like way before then, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah. It's BT6. Anytime I think about a card that's like crazy, insanely good, I'm like, that was an EX5 card, right? We're still paying for that card's crimes. And yeah, looks like that's not the case. They weren't all in EX5, Animal Coliseum. I feel like purple just manipulates cards in hand so easily. And it's splashable in pretty much every purple deck. Like, can you think of a purple deck that doesn't care about this? Maybe Beelzemon? Yeah, purple might as well just say free draw. Like, in most of the cases too, purple is like ditching a card already to just draw a card. So it's like ditch a card, draw two. Yeah, I think we're gonna pop Tsunomon up in A. It's just so good because you're not only like achieving a game plan, it's also just widely available to use in like pretty much every purple deck. Next up, Koromon. So this guy is a menace. He was a menace back in the red, white, and blue, and I'm gonna die on this hill. American hybrid with the ancient Garurumon. Now he pretty much only sees uses in like red decks. Although I guess you can still kind of run American hybrid, but yeah, free card draw whenever you check a security, anytime. Pretty good. I mean, that's red's thing, right? Like red is just like punch security. We're out of brain cells. There's nothing else left to like consider. So I think I'm gonna drop this in B though, because it's like one draw every turn, just like the rest of these folks. Koro is S tier, low A. Nah, you guys are crazy. See, I think that you folks are only looking at the eggs themselves. We're gonna look at you gotta think of the big picture. You guys gotta think about the entire picture. We've got to go through more than just eggs. We've got options, Digimon, and Tamers to go through. Let's see, the staple. We'll get there. Next up is Wanyamon. So Wanyamon is whenever you attack, if you have a blue Tamer, draw a card. Again, it's like one card draw. Blue, let's see, Garurumon, blue hybrid, if necessary. They have, I guess, blue flare right now as well, which is a very low bar because blazing memory boost is somehow a card still. Vmon doesn't really care much about this guy, but yeah, pretty much any blue deck you run, you're gonna throw a couple Tamers in there. Yeah, and so it's free card draw every single turn. And then the last egg we're going to take a look at is going to be Yokomon. So this is the other red egg, and Yokomon is like if you die and you have, I believe, a Tamer, then draw a card, which I guess is pretty good, but you have to get a Tamer up first. This might be more useful if your opponent has a blocker in the way, then Koromon's not that great. Yeah, I'm not, but like having the Tamer up means you have to spin memory, which is a little bit harder. Like Koromon definitely has the lower bar of entry where you just like early game just punch face and like that's a free card draw. So if you're like had a bunk hand and he saves you at the beginning of the game, and that's pretty much in any deck. Let's go ahead and toss her in C here. I might even actually put her in D. Yeah, because I think if I'm really thinking about the eggs, if you're gonna have to pad out your eggs for a red deck, you're probably running 4 Koromon and then 1 Yokomon. Let's keep it a buck. Even Red Hybrid was like, you know what, Koromon 4, Yokomon 1. Yeah. All right, some folks out there are probably wondering why I don't have Bukamon on this list. And for folks who don't know, Bukamon was the one blue Digi-Egg that basically gave jamming and then was limited to 1. And then Bandai printed 18,000 cards in blue that had jamming And who was it? It was a guy named Puns Intended on YouTube, I think it was, yeah. And he was like, BT14 Bukamon was so fun to run at max in every blue deck till he got limited. And I'm just like, you know what? Blue players, you're getting apples for Halloween. Like, what the hell, right? You guys, why aren't y'all more appreciative? You got, what do you call it? You got, oh, hold on, the cops coming for me? What's going on out here? For my tier list crimes, I'm on the run. The cops are coming after me. Did you please actually about to roll up on me? But what was I saying? Yeah, Bukamon. You folks who play blue, you guys aren't appreciative of anything. You get, what, jamming with some strings attached, because you had to have the most sources on the field to get jamming with the Bukamon. He gets limited to 1, and then they give you 14 untethered jammings. And you're like, you know what? I miss Bukamon. Come on, guys. I thought better of you blue players. Come on. Blue players just not appreciative of anything. Like, give me back my Bukamon. You have 12 jammings right over there. Just use those. Just use those. All right, so Digi-Egg's out of the way. Let's take a look next. Do we go Digimon? I think Digimon is probably better than go. I think I'll save the options for a bit. All right. Actual Digimon themselves, Bokomon. I also want to consider like the timing. Again, I can't think about how good a card was in the past. I want to think about it like right now, which is why the video that's going to come out of this is going to be incredibly dated in like a year or two, and I'm going to get crazy ass comments saying I'm wild. But Bokomon back in the day was like a fantastic card. Search 5, grab 2. Plus the memory plus 2 whenever you evolve off of a Tamer for a hybrid deck was insane. Like, all hybrid decks use this bad boy. Like, generically, just fantastic card. But nowadays, not really the wave. He's a great search, but most decks only run like 1 or 2 of him. He's also usually doesn't survive anymore, which is kind of sad. Also, being white meant that he was slottable into any deck, but also he couldn't evolve off of anything. And whereas the new Pokemon is actually red, so if you actually run red hybrid, you have the option of using him. And while he doesn't have as much of either of this Pokemon's effects, he does have like +1. He's got the like search 3. Yeah, but this fella right here, we could kind of put him out to pasture, I suppose. I guess C is like a decent place to go. Like 1 or 2 is okay. Maybe we'll actually yeah, maybe D's even better. Can I bring myself to put Pokemon in D tier? Yeah, I can do that. Next up is Argomon, the limited to 1 Argomon. All right. How are we feeling about a green card that can evolve for 3 by resting itself, essentially, and then later on can just play level 3s whenever you attack? Anybody? There's a reason this card is limited to 1. Yeah, I think you can slot this into literally any green deck, like anything. Yeah, like 0 cost plus play free Digimon afterward is insane. And when was this card made? This was an early one, right? Yeah, BT2. Man, some of the green cards back in the BT1, BT2, it's incredible. This like wasn't like the best color hands down. That's insane. This is what an S tier looks like, is what I'm actually trying to say. Like, this is what an S tier is. Amazing. Not like draw once per turn. Nah, like an S tier is like this literally goes in any green deck, whether it's like the plant themed or not, or Argomon themed, I suppose too. All right, so I want to. This shows Psychemon, but this is meant to be like the representative for all Floodgate cards, because Psychemon is one I hate the most. So when we're looking at this Psychemon card, just imagine that it's all Floodgates combined. Otherwise, we'd be here all day. Most of the Floodgate cards just kind of do similar things, just in different ways, right? Back in the last couple of sets, like maybe like 12, 13, 14, I feel like Floodgates weren't super important, with the exception of Apocalypse meta, but if we just like mind wipe ourselves, like Men in Black style of that, I think Floodgates, like even now, like are amazing. Even this like Ruin mode loop deck like has like the Otamamon, it just runs Otamamon because you lock your opponent out from playing small Digimon, and then you lock them out from like reducing the cost of bigger Digimon, so they gotta hold that for a turn, even if they can play big stuff. Really good, really good. Floodgates are amazing in Digimon. They are probably one of like the best defenses you have in the game that you can like reasonably manage, or you can like reasonably bet on in a game. Even level 2s can delete Floodgates. Hey man, Red's in a rough place right now. Stop bullying. Stop bullying. Next up is Venusmon. Ooh. So Venusmon, you probably might not think is like a staple card, but this is one of the few cards in the game that denies an opponent evolve effects and attack effects. I feel like no matter what you run that's like has like some yellow bits at the lower end, that in itself, being able to deny your opponent evolve effects and attack effects, probably the 2 most common effects for like changing the game state, is really strong. And then later in the future, you can do it again if you have the means to set up security attack minuses. But that first turn is always guaranteed, and you get like a big body on board. You can then make this into like a ruin mode. Yeah, Venusmon is such a great card. It's a good card, but staple wise, is it a good card? Is it a good staple? Like, how many are you running? Like, you're running like 4 Venusmons in every deck? Probably not. Maybe like 1. Yeah, I see that, but it's really good. It's really tough. I'm like narrowing it down between S and A. I can't make it S. Let's go A. I think it's a solid A. Solid A for sure, yeah. Venusmon the GOAT. I actually lost to this at finals at my locals, and it was heartbreaking. The guy ran like a deck that like uses no new cards. He just goes yellow hybrids and like cheap evolve yellow stuff, like angels and shit, and he just goes into Venusmon on the top end, denies you for a turn, and then closes out the game the following turn with like 2 hybrids. I got wrecked. Ugh. Not a great day. Ooh, BT16 Ukomon. Let me just save everybody the trouble here and just plop him in S. We'll just keep it moving. I think we all know why. No need to even debate this. He and his cousin, the promo Ukomon, there's a reason it's limited to 1. Yeah, there's not even a conversation. Mimi plus search, Mimi plus memory. Okay, this is kind of tough. So now we get into some of the ace cards. But you can't Eve on top of him? What do you... But if he sticks around, hold on. I can't believe I have to say this. If he sticks around, you get to do his effect again. You can do it again. That's for both of them. Like, you don't want him to evolve. Like, come on, man. So now we're gonna move on to some of the ace cards, and I tried to be generous with some of the ace cards. You're not gonna see all of them listed here, but I think the ones that can be like run in, or I've personally seen in a couple of different decks, I've added here. And the first one's gonna be Shadow Seraphimon. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is this guy out in English as of October 22nd? No, right? He's still yet to come out. I think right now he's only Japan. This is a really good card. He works with hybrids, he works with black, he works with yellow, he works in black and yellow, he works with control, DP minus, and the Digivolve and blocker is insane. He comes off of a Seraphimon, so you can use him in yellow, like in the Angels deck. This guy's really good. Like, as far as an ace card is concerned, he's a great counter card. Is he Ukomon good? Probably not. Is he Venusmon good? I think there's an easy case to be made there. I think that's a B. Come on, bro. Put some respect. Wait till you fight a control deck with this thing in it. You will change your mind. To say Rodez, you will change your mind. I promise you. I promise you. All right, next up is Valkyremon Ace. Valk Ace is really good because it's like Shine Greymon Ruin Mode Light, and it gives it to red, which is crazy. And then if it's not denying your opponent for a turn, then you're also getting Security Attack Plus, which is really cool. Red, yeah, it doesn't see a ton of use in yellow decks. Honestly, not even in red decks, though. All right, because of the blanket minus 5k, and the fact that it's red, you can basically slash it into anything, and then like you immediately like the biggest Digimon on board. Also, yellow uses, I suppose, is nice, even though yellow's probably going to be going to this guy in the near future here. All right, next up is Grand Kawagamon Ace. All right, oh, you know what? I think he and Shadow Seraphimon might be brothers. If Grand Kawagamon was only C against anything not Tamer heavy, dang, really? Let me see. Tamer hate is really good, especially now in hybrids. Again, I'm taking the game at where it is right now, and hybrids are pretty nice. I think I want to leave this in A. Also, the Sec +1 is just really nice, and it gives purple some ways to interact with Tamers as well as green. If only they would give that to red. If only. Yeah, trust me, if you don't hate Tamers right now, give it a couple weeks. Your mind may change. All right, Cherrybon Ace. We're gonna leave Grand Kawag at A. I think it's worth it. Cherrybon Ace. Green yellow works in like any of the Lopmon stuff, any of the Terriermon stuff, the Angel stuff as well. Lets you play Digimon, even more Digimon. You get the effects. It's got Alliance. It's got DP minus. Yeah, I'm feeling the A. Like, it does a lot of stuff, and you can slot this into a lot of decks actually. Not most, but a lot of decks. So we'll pop it in the A here. All right, keep it moving. Oh man, bro, A for Ace. Do we just Mega Gargomon up as well? Like, if we made the case for Grand Kawaga Ace here to be A, I think we have to do Mega Gargomon as well, right? That makes sense, right? S, my GOAT. Oh wait a second, hold on, I'm tripping. Does Mega Gargo also rest? Let me double. If he rests, he's going in the S. Suspend 2 of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers, then 2 of their Digimon or Tamers can't unsuspend or Digivolve until the end of the turn. And then he can also unsuspend, has blocker, has reboot, The fact that you lock them out of evolving is insane. I'm really considering the S here. I'm really considering S. Blood doesn't have an on play? Nah, bro. You seen the rapids out there, bro? Come on. Also, I feel like recently, green has a lot of cards that just can't be interacted with. When you take a look at Grand Galemon, the promo Hercules Kabuterimon stuff, the actual like level 5 Rapidmon, the starter deck black-green one, I feel like you don't need to have it on play. Like, you can pretty safely evolve this guy because they have to attack in, right? They can't do anything with it. The fact that it can't stop Evo, the fact that it can stop Evo for a turn is good. That's what I think it, yeah. All right, I'm gonna cop out a little bit here. I'm gonna put Mega Gargo in A. If I could order these though, I would have Mega Gargo above Grand Kawaga and Cherubimon Ace though. I'm just gonna symbolically that's there, yeah. As a rapid, well, see, yeah, but again, staples, not just rapid. This can slot into a lot of stuff. Ooh, okay. Paladin mode Ace. This one I think is a really hard one to judge. So Paladin mode Ace can win you the game, guaranteed. Like, he can also, like, basically destroy an opponent's game plan. He slots into so many things, green and blue. Imperial Dramon stuff is nice. He's just a great top end as well at 16,000. And if your opponent can't remove this guy whenever you ace into him, the following turn you can just like wipe them out. Like, generically, he's a really good card. If you're relying on him to win you the game, I don't think it's going to happen because he doesn't actually interact with the board that much, right? He just source strips everything. So if they attack for game, like, he's not going to win. He's not going to stop them. But yeah, like, if we're putting Mecha Gargomon Ace here, I think we kind of had to just plop him there. B? See, Tari, I felt that on my heart as well, but people are going to get real pissed if I, like, Mecha Gargomon. You know what? No. You know, I'm going to go with my heart. We're going to put him in B. But generically, he's so good. He's a high B. He's like a 89, like, sorry, a 92. He's a high B, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I feel like he could be situational. That's what I mean. But, like, I will say that as a staple here, he's pretty decent. All right, Blitz Omni for game. How much is the last hit always worth? Infinite memory? Do we just immediate S him? He just, like, yeah, he has to just be easy S, like easy S. Yeah, I think he's so good. Red or blue decks all just get an immediate out as a way to win the game. And then even back in the day, like, you could use him for other stuff. Like, if he just, like, sat on board, he's actually kind of sticky to remove. I guess I can't say that though because we're trying to evaluate it today. But still, that last hit for game is still really good. And again, across 2 colors, he's amazing. Ooh, Chimeramon. This guy was a menace back in the day. Just blanket minus 4K. Just popping like 4 things for 4K. That's crazy. And then he gets to stack something underneath him. But nowadays, we don't really see this Chimeramon much often. Or much at all anymore, right? I think that the game's got to this level where you kind of don't really care about this guy. Like, it was amazing back in the day that he could evolve from any color. Or you could joggers any 2 level 4s. Which, again, is even now, like, it's very rare. But yeah, at current, he's not that great. I honestly might even be tempted to put him in D. If you're trying to get a staple card, he's not super necessary for much right now. He might have just been power. I'm gonna put him in D just because I think he's been power crept at this point. You might run like one of these in a deck every so often. All right. Death Xmon. Whoo boy. Who said this? Hold on. There's a guy on let's see the YouTube comment. Connery Ham said Death X, enabling impossible looking comeback since BT9. S tier. There we go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Death Xmon. Even though I think it's a little bit harder to get him out because I think most folks are like limited to 2 cards. Recently, with more Tamers being put into the game, I've seen him creep up a little bit more. Triple S. Where is Ruin East? Is he not here? Oh shit, he should be here. Hold on. Oh, we'll get to him in a second. Ooh, okay. This one I think I have to explain because I'm not sure if folks in the English version of the game are gonna catch on to this one. Let's go back to Argomon for just a moment. But we're not going to go to the one we just talked about. We're going to go to the new one. This guy right here, the BT17 Argomon. I don't know if this is caught on in English yet, but this guy is actually kind of crazy, yeah. So you probably look at him and you're like, man, purple, green, 5 cost, evolve is insane. 4 from an Argomon, but no one's playing that deck right now. The effect is where it really shines. When this card would be digivolved into by suspending up to 5 Tamers, any 5 Tamers, yeah, you can reduce the cost by 1 for each one you suspend. And so if you've got a couple Tamers and your opponent has a couple Tamers, then you can make this super cheap. But the real kicker is on opponent's turn. Basically, on your opponent's turn, they can't unsuspend Tamers. So it basically shuts off hybrid decks. They have to play new Tamers on the board. And then if they use them once, that's it. I guess at that point, though, they're already evolved. But you get the idea. Like, it basically locks them out from using any of the stuff they've played on the board before. The deletion effect is, like, not that great because you're only going to be using this in an Argomon deck. But the fact that it can lock out Tamers is pretty crazy. BT17 Argomon. Where are we putting this guy? He's really good in green and purple for just locking your opponent out. I guess the one thing you have to worry about is him just getting yeeted by something like red hybrid, though. Or blue hybrid. I might place him in C for now. I'm trying to think about, like, right now in the game, am I going to be using this guy too much? It might be just about as much as Chimeramon or Pokemon, to be honest. I'm going to put it in C, though, just because, like, as the Tamer stuff came out, like, I saw this guy creep up a couple of times. And that was not that long ago. I wish Argomon got more support. Don't we all, man? Don't we all? It feels like they're trying to make sure that Argomon and Eosmon don't occupy the same space. I feel like they're so close together. All right, and also Edamon. So this is I think the EX5 Animal Coliseum Edamon, who you're probably thinking, oh, 7 cost, Edamon card. The Edamon decks weren't that great, but black, yellow, like any control deck, you can just drop this guy on the board. He forces something to attack, and then you can basically set up the counter ace on the following turn. So you're like, all right, you have a Digimon on board. I've got nothing. Here's 7 memory. You have to attack with that thing, and I'm just gonna ace you. And yeah, I think this guy is a really easy case to be made for A here. Any control deck just utilized this guy so well. And then if you're running, like, I think black, his inheritance effect is good for that. Hold on. Let's preliminarily put him in A. I want to double check the inheritance effect here. Yeah, when your opponent Digimon attacks, you can reveal top 3 of the deck, and then if it's a black or yellow, okay, so it's not just one or the other, it's both. You can play at 3 costs from them and then trash the rest. That's really good too. That's almost bordering on like Argomon level stuff. Yeah, so this guy just enables all the before him. So Inherit Tribal. I mean, yeah, it's useful for the Sukamon stuff or like the Targemon or whatever the level 3 like little monkey is. But I mean, you could use it outside of just its own tribe. And that's, oh yeah, I forgot. Seiji, do me a favor and Seiji, do me a favor and ceremoniously put Rumo right here in S. Just do that for me right there. Just wait for that to go away and just put Rumo right there. Much appreciated. Put him right there. I think we all know where this is going because I tried. I really did. Rumo was too fat and chunky to appear on my computer, so you have to do it post editing, or I guess in post. We won't say post. All right, so let's take a look at Tamers. We're gonna save options for last because I think that's like the biggest hurdle to overcome. First up, Blast from the Past, Takumi Aiba. You guys remember this card? For the folks who don't, Takumi Aiba was a really good card for control decks because they could stop your opponent from going really, really hard with like Rookie Rush. Basically, anytime a level 3 evolves, or sorry, a level 3 attacks, they have the effect lose 1 memory. So if your opponent tried to swing on you really quickly with a bunch of little weenies, then they lost the memory every time they did it. And then anytime one of your Digimon digivolves, you get to draw an extra card. This card was actually really good back at the Hunter's deck. This card was like really nice. I think one of the guys who won a really big Japanese tournament actually used Takumi Aiba for the first time that I'd seen in that deck, and it worked out really well because they got so much draw already, and then plus locking your opponent out from going faster than they could was insane. But nowadays, doesn't see too much use, eh? Like, I feel like folks have switched the idea or switched their mindset from, okay, well, I'll just go faster than you to win the game rather than try to slow you down, or I'll just put a big wall in your face like Mother D Reaper. And this guy right here, we'll come to him in a moment. So Takumi Aiba, are we dropping this in D? I think so. Staples of long past. Yeah, or people just use Emperor. Yeah, I guess that works too. All right, so moving along then. We've got the BT2, BT3, yeah, one of those. Matt Ishida Tamer. This is the purple guy who lets you recycle a Digimon or an option that's purple from the trash whenever you play it. As a generic card, pretty much every purple deck interacts with the trash. That's crazy, y'all saying DNC. Every purple deck interacts with the trash. I feel like he is so good, especially in purple hybrid recently. But like anything that needs to grab something back, of course you have Rivals Barrage, but that's only if you're like running like a mill deck. So I think this card is also really good if you're like basically running through your hand. And it's also a 3 memory setter. I really like this guy as B. I think I'm gonna pop him in B. I think not everyone's gonna agree with that one, but like being able to recycle an option, especially if that option is Jack Raid, is insane. Trust me. Does Lord not use it? No, Lord not uses no Tamers. strangely enough. Well, not strangely, but like they don't need to, right? They're already memory efficient. But I mean, if there was any deck that you wanted to just like grab something from the trash with that you couldn't grab through other means, and you want to get a level or a 3 memory setter up, then the Matt Tamer's fantastic. Ooh, starter deck Black Tie. Anytime an attack targets change, plus 2,000 and draw a card. That's really good. That's really good. Yeah, big fat 17k mother. Well, you know what's also crazy? This Magna players run this guy too, and I feel like every game they find him. It's like no deck or no card in the deck really searches this guy out, but they always get him down. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how. I'm feeling this guy at A because he's so good across the board. Memory 3 setter, card draw plus like the buff on redirect, and you can use that offensively or defensively. Let's take a look. Ooh, Digimon Emperor. Digimon Emperor. I mean, if this was pre-ban list, I think I would have set this guy to A immediately. But I think I might actually put him in B. Because nowadays, you don't see him too much. Like, he's not stopping any of the stuff for the most part at all, right? Maybe Take Mikazuchi? Yeah, I think I might put him in B. I think B is really fair. Like, again, if this is pre-ban list update, I'd put him in A. But I think B is the right place for him. Like, I mean, think about it. Like, Paladin mode is in B, right? Digimon Emperor, yeah. I think B's the right place for him. Oof. Shoto Kazama. Yeah, you know he's going up here somewhere. I think it's S. I really think it's S, yeah. Any deck, doesn't matter color, doesn't matter archetype, blocker. Also piercing, which is kind of useful in Galamon right now. Yeah, I think Shoto's like a fan. Like, as we're talking about generically good cards, this one is good and it can be used in anything. Like, that's like Ukamon levels of generic, I think. Now, Mimi. We talked about Mimi before, right? You can slot her in pretty much any green deck, and then you can basically get like a second breeding phase for as many of these cards as you have, yeah. I think the only reason you wouldn't run Mimi is because you're running out of space for your actual archetypal cards. I think it's probably one of the reasons that insects don't really run her very much, or if they do, it's only like one copy. But yeah, this effect is not really been seen anywhere else in the game, maybe besides like Ukomon and the Rui Tamer. So I think we drop her in A. And she's a 3 memory setter, so. Oh, puns intended. We were just talking about you. See, no, Buko, I told you. You know what? Blue players, call for Christmas. You guys can't appreciate the jammings you got. That's, I swear to God. Analog Youth. Oh my God. Can I just pop this guy in S? Analog Youth is an amazing card. It cycles, it's like an honorary purple card. I think BBDoo said that in the post. He's like, yeah, honorary purple card right here. It works out so well in pretty much any deck you pop it into. And then the fact that you can steal turns whenever your big stuff dies is kind of nice. Like my Galamon deck actually uses this guy, and it just makes sense, right? Fill up the trash, pick up something you need. Yeah, there you go. Enable so much BS. Ooh, yellow TK Tamer. So you guys like using your security as a second hand? I sure as hell do. The fact that I think somebody told me to pop one of these in my Sakyamon deck, I think is a great example of how good of a staple this card is. High B? Really? I was gonna say A. I like this guy in A. Yeah, every yellow deck can use this guy. Like, it doesn't care where he goes. Yeah, shit, do we put it in S? Nah, because these cards are good across colors. This guy is good in yellow. Let's stick it with A. Yeah. Better than Ty? When there's a mother on the board, I mean, is he better than Ty? Let's see. Davis? Ooh, BT2, BT3 Davis? Search out a green and a blue Digimon whenever you play this guy, and he sets memory. Pretty good. What is it? Somebody said in the comments, unbricking my hand since BT2 or BT3. I think if we're talking about like memory setting plus like searchability, and this guy is useful across blue and green, he's right up there with TK. Yeah, I feel like he's at home here in A. Rui Owada. This guy was limited to 1. He lets you essentially do what Mimi does, and you gain a memory off of it. He enabled a ton of the like Agubond and Gabubond aggro decks. Good in any color because he's white. I think he has to go into S tier. Pre-ban S, post-ban B. I guess because it's I guess I understand where you folks are coming from. Yeah, I guess without all the crazy stuff, he's not as good, eh? I have to judge it in the current landscape, not the previous. Yeah, I think I still like him in A though. Like that's like a Dewey for game is kind of a thing. Lets you get that last swing for just 2 memory. I feel like I'm plopping too many things into A tier though. Is Rui just as generically good as Matt, Digimon Emperor, Valk Ace? I'm gonna drop him in B. I'm gonna drop him in B. If this was pre-ban list, I'd drop him in S for sure. But with just one of him, you can't. He's like okay, just for like that one little scenario, or just get like one extra, just one extra swing basically. I think like if you're running like an Agumon or Gabumon deck, I mean he feels great, but with only one of him, like it's gonna be hard to dig him out of the deck. All right, and then last but not least, ooh, Cool Boy, man, back in his day, he was a menace. Y'all remember hating this card? I know y'all remember hating this card. Cool Boy is a C. C for Cool Boy. I'm about it. Y'all remember hating this card? I sure don't. I love Cool Boy. I still love Cool Boy. B as well? Nah, C. I mean, he doesn't see much play these days at all. I think there's just like better stuff to run. I feel like the cards, the deck's engines themselves have kind of crept past Cool Boy. And I feel like he's only using decks of Relics past, unfortunately. Yeah, all right. Pretty decent list here so far. Let's take a look at the options. Cool Boy. All right, let's pop the options open. All right, this is where I think things get tough. I've been playing this game for a long ass time now that I think about it. It's a good little game. Jack Raid. For every 10 cards in your trash, gain 1 memory. This card has a 0 cost. Most purple decks, you're filling up the trash pretty hard. I feel like a Jack Raid is pretty damn good. I'm almost solely basing this card off of Purple Hybrid, but that's only one deck, so I think I'm gonna put it in B. Do I really? I think I'm gonna drop him in B. Yeah, yeah. Just like the issue is, Purple has so many good cards that Jack Raid is just unless it really like focuses on what the deck does, it's not the way right now. Hidden potential discovered. Do you guys like Argomon, except instead of a -3 cost, it's -5. Excuse me, so you can literally play any green Digimon you want. Any green Digimon, by the way. S, 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 yup. Agree. Big agree. Gravity Crush. 0 cost. Gain 2 memory at the end of your turn, lose 2 memory. Gravity Crush is one of those cards that's really good the turn you win the game. Outside of that last turn, I don't think this is a good card. High B, only, I was gonna say C. Because you have to basically collect them throughout the game, and they can't be used in any like scenario. You have basically just the last turn. Like again, giving your opponent, unless your opponent has a memory setter down, and you know you can pass them to 1, this card's not that great. Unless you're gonna win the game, in which case, I mean, it has infinite value. So I'm gonna drop it in C for now. Blinding Ray. So pop off a security and gain 2 memory. Kind of nice, cause now considering you have yellow cards that can do stuff whenever they're removed by an effect or they're trashed, instead of like checked through security, you also get the 2 memory. You can enable your Magnamon stuff as well. I feel like this is right along there with Jack Raid. Blinding Ray is really good right now, at least for like yellow decks. Yeah, it also works on 0 security as well, which is insane to me. All right, next up is Red Card. Let me actually take a look at this one, because I almost forgot what this one does. This card I think isn't out yet in English. You have Blue Card, but not Red Card. Yeah, while your opponent has a white Digimon or Tamer, ignore this card's color requirements. That hurts. I really thought when I read it the first time it was if you have a white Digimon or Tamer, you can know the color requirements, but it's your opponent, which is a little harder to use. 2 cost, it's cheap, but yeah, that if you're not running it in red, that's kind of rough. Until the end of your opponent's turn, one of your Digimon isn't affected by the effects of your opponent's option cards, and it can't have its DP reduced. So it's like a delicate plan plus. You're paying for one of those pluses though, not 1 cost, 2. So yeah, the fact that it's pretty much only useful in red, and it's a pretty niche situation. It's just really also a really weird situation where you're setting up defense for red, which doesn't really happen too often. Honestly, I think a lot of folks are saying C, but I think I'm going to drop it into D for right now. Ooh, Emergency Program Shutdown. Your opponent cannot use options during their next turn. Let me double check. I haven't read this card in a long time. Can you use this card if you don't have a white source? My man said F. Oh, you cannot. Ooh, so you need a white card on the board to actually play this? That is painful. Unfortunate. Yeah. Needs an E tier, F tier. Come on, guys. I feel like this card could be good, but needing the source is rough. Is there any card right now that prevents your opponent from playing option cards? Like, prevents them from playing options completely? Besides this? There isn't, right? Could be good for Gallimon? Hell no. My Gallimon at end of turn isn't affected by my opponent's Digimon effects. I'm good. Shivamon? Oh, I guess. Yeah, technically Shivamon works too. Yeah, good point. All right, I've got these in the reverse order, but we're going to start with the first one. Regular X antibody. You can put it under Digimon, and then when Digimon attacks, you can Digivolve into an X antibody card. That's pretty good, but nowadays, not that useful. It does see some play in decks that do use some X antibody cards. I've seen some Magnamons run this guy. I think Lord Knightmon even ran it a little bit. I'm not sure if that's the case now, but I think I like this in C, just because I feel like it's been power crept by its cooler cousin. I will say the security effect of giving memory back is very nice, whereas the other X antibody doesn't do that. And also this one can't be source stripped, whereas I think Protoform can. Let me double check. Yeah, so this one can be source stripped, which makes Hexablaumon very, very happy. So Protoform, I think I might actually put this in A. I think Protoform is a fantastic card. Lets you recover, it lets you get back a card from sources, and it's a cost -1 to an evolve, although you have to evolve at that point. You can't evolve while you're attacking. So like the effect forces the evolve, and so your turn could end, but it's cost -1, so in most cases you're fine. I think we're gonna pop it in A tier. I like A for Protoform. Also, the fact that you get it back immediately because it pops onto security is crazy to me. Yeah, very solid card. I'm saying if this card gets reprints, grab them when you can, because EX5 was a hell of a set. Was this EX5? Yeah, it was, yeah. We are still paying for EX5's crimes to this day. Ooh, Vortex Resonance. This is blue card with more colors and more restrictions. I think Vortex Resonance has a lot of future potential. I really do, but right now it's just not there. I think I have to put it in D. I know somebody in 2025, April or June is going to be like, man, Vortex Resonance, one of the best cards in the game. They're going to come across this video. They're going to stumble across this video thanks to the YouTube algorithm and be like, that guy was on all kinds of drugs. So we're going to put it in D tier for drugs. All right. Digimon Liberator. I don't even remember what Digimon Liberator does. Hold on. Well, you have a Digimon or Tamer with Liberator in your trade. You can know the color requirements and then reveal top 3. Add 1 Liberator among them to the hand, rest bottom deck, and then you can play 1 card with Liberator trait and a play cost of 3 or less. Okay, so you search and play the card, or a card. I think if I put Vortex Resonance in D, I have to put this in D too. It's cool because you can play Tamers with this. You know what? Fuck it, we ball. I'm putting this in C just because I feel like being able to play a Tamer for 3 costs is still really good. Yeah, I like the fact that I can just play something immediately. And that it's basically refunds its own cost, so. I wish sometimes they said options had a play cost, because this card would be amazing then. Because you can just keep playing itself. You can just like cycle through your deck and play this. Alright, Final Zubagon Punch. Final Zubagon Punch. Let's see here. What is it, plus 3k? And then if you have like more than 13, or is it 16? 13 or 16. You get Sec +1 reboot blocker, I think it is. Let me think about this. Zubagon Punch is really good in a lot of black decks. Even some non-black decks. But I think I'm gonna put it in a solid B. I think B is right where it belongs. Yeah, B or C, I feel that. I feel that. High C? Oh, okay, I can see that. I hear you, Liliando. This can enable OTKs. That is true, but it's only in one deck, right? I mean, speaking of enabling OTKs, high-speed plug-in B. Or is this D? I'm sorry, D. Man, being able to bypass blocker and have jamming is kind of cool. Kind of fancy. And you can play it with any color because it doesn't have any color requirements if you have a Tamer. And that's most decks, right? Part of me wants to say like a high B, low A. Is it as good as X Antibody Protoform? Probably not. D for do not interact with me. Amen. Amen. Yeah, I think we gotta go B. Because this is a bullshit ass card. B for bullshit. Proof that card gamers can read. We know the alphabet. Ooh, win rate 60%. So 2 costs, discard a card. Card of the same color when you evolve next is -4 to its evolution. This card is actually kind of cool, especially in Ruin Mode loop. But outside of that, I think it just kind of gets power crept by a lot of other stuff in the game, right? I mean, when you think about it, you're getting like +2 memory off of this. But you're pitching a card, whereas X Antibody Protoform gives you a card back and cost -1. I think we might go C here. This is like a card that's like, yeah, I'm gonna go C. Yeah, it's a card that's like useful, like maybe like 1 or 2 of in very niche decks, but it's not run very widely. And then Vortex Resonance Plus, blue card. They printed the better version so many sets ago. If Vortex Resonance is down here, do we have to put blue card up here just because at the end of the day, you're still gambling? right? We don't have a G tier, but you're still gambling for this bad boy. It's like, okay, top 5 cards. I pray to God my level 6 is there. We can put it next to it? Damn. You know, I don't hate that idea, actually. I think I like it as being, yeah, D also. Yeah, I don't hate that. Ooh. How you folks feel about Hammer Spark? Recently limited to 1, 0 cost, +1 memory. Not bad, not bad. You can only have 1 in the deck. Dang, my man said N tier. SA? Even now? Since it's yeah, I agree, Mike. I like this in B. Like, if this was pre-patch, I'd be like, yep, right there. Yep. Well, not pre-patch, but pre-restricted list, I'd be like, yep. SA feels good. But I think post-restricted list, B is a good place for this. If this was 4 of in the deck, I'd be like, yeah, go ham. Ancient Garurumon sure was a menace. 1 memory is all you need, unless you need 2. Trust me, as a Galamon player, I always need 2 memory. Because I'm always playing these damn scramble cards to minus my cost by 1. Just a heads up. I've got the scramble cards, the memory boost cards, and the training cards. I've only got 1 of each, because I'm not going to rate each one. They all do the same thing. It's just different colors. At that point, we're just rating colors in the game for those. So this is the representation for all scramble cards, not just red. It's red, yellow, green, blue, purple, black. And this is the one for the representation for all memory boosts. And this is the representation for all training cards. So scramble cards, cost -3 on evolve. If your opponent doesn't have a Digimon, delay. You can, if you don't have a Digimon, play 1 2k or lower from the trash, and then you can add a card from trash to the top of the deck. A Digimon card. Yeah. All right. I think I got it. Delay. If your opponent has a Digimon, delay. Yeah. And then return 1 red card from trash top of deck. Then if you don't have a Digimon, you can play 1 red Digimon with 2k or less. All right. Yeah. So if they have a Digimon, then you can use the delay. And then if you don't have a Digimon, you can play the 2k. Yeah. I think the scramble cards are really good. It enables decks like Finner, Lugomon, Takemi, Kazuchi to kill you with no board and just a setup in trash. Galamon is amazing with this card. I just feel like every deck can use. I see like 2 of these in almost every deck nowadays. So I think we're gonna have to drop all the scrambles in S. Do we want them in? Yeah, it's gotta be S. It's gotta be S. It's gotta be. Yeah, S. Not every archetype can take advantage of it, but I mean, it feels like almost every good deck in the game uses them now. Like, being able to just like go from nothing to something on board is so strong for a lot of decks. They can either set up a huge wall like Magnamon or something, or they can just like get rush and just close out the game even with nothing on board. Memory boosts. Search for later on +2 memory. This is a toughie. There are sometimes where you really want a memory boost, but there are also sometimes you just want a training instead. The search is so good though. Search 4 is like really solid, yeah. But only a Digimon. You know what? This is a pretty balanced card. I think we're just gonna drop it in A and call it a day. Yeah, I think I'm happy for A. Calling from the Darkness. Pop a Digimon, then grab 2 purple Digimon, 2 purple cards, 2 purple Digimon. I think it is from the trash. Add them to your hand. S is fine. Yeah, I know. Yeah, purple trash manipulation. Of course, why not? Purple players spoiled for choice. Where's Lament of Friendship? Nah, bro, not today. We chose violence today. Crimson Blaze. Minus its own cost for every Digimon your opponent has by 1, and then wipe the board of all 6k or lower, and then your opponent can't play Digimon by effects for a single turn. Do we just S this bad boy up? Do we just S this bad? I think this is an S. In my heart of hearts, like, it's mostly in red decks, but I've even seen like Magnamon run this card now. Yeah, with how many Digimon to play by effects, I think you have to just put this in S. It's so good. Depends on the metagame. Again, we're talking about the game right now. And because lots of decks are playing cards by effects, this is sometimes your only defense against something like Fenrir Lugomon or Lord Nightmon himself. Yeah, I feel confident about Crimson Blaze and S. All right, all of the training cards. So 2 cost, search 2, grab any card of that color. Option Digimon, training, or not training. Option Digimon Tamer, and then later on delay cost -2 on an evolve. Yeah. I think this is an easy S as well. It doesn't search as deep as Memory Boost, but it's cheaper, and sometimes I don't want to search that deep, you know what I mean? Sometimes I want to just do a quick pick and see if I have something that's useful there, and then later I just can get the like 1 cost level 3 or a 0 cost level 4. Especially nowadays when you can run decks that have like cards that are completely different colors in them. Sometimes you don't want to dig super deep because you don't want to bottom deck those cards. You want to just like do a really quick peek and then, yeah, go from there. So I'm happy with training in S, yeah. And, ooh. Ice Wall. I lived through the time period where this card was not limited to one. And boy, that was a rough time indeed. Could you imagine your opponent playing Ice Wall 4 turns in a row? I watched it happen, and people were playing for like, it was like $2,000 at the time. It was insane. I play Ice Wall, next turn I play Ice Wall, next turn I play Ice Wall. Whoo boy. They literally grinded my man or froze my man entirely. That was rough. Grinded mans to a halt every single turn. But nowadays, Ice Wall, do we see this card very often? I don't think so, right? Do we throw Ice Wall in C? I think it's a B. I feel like Ice Wall and Hammer Spark are pretty comparable. Yeah, B minimum. Yeah, I feel good about that. All right, and then our last card? Really? Our last card? Heaven's Judgment. Okay. For 7 costs. Indeed, there is a cost to this card. But if you have a green or purple Tamer or card, you can play it even outside of yellow. Yeah, you can play it outside of its own color. It's not a problem at all. Minus 6k to something. And then for every color of Digimon you have on the board, minus 6k again. This card's really good. I feel like it was a menace when when Yellow Vaccine was really strong, but now that Magnamon Armor is pretty much the only one around, I feel like it sees less play. I think, and this might be controversial, I think I'm going to put it in A. I think right now Crimson Blaze is actually a step above Heaven's Judgment. I mean, minusing 24k is huge, but you got to be winning the game, or you got to be still in the game. Like, this isn't a really great comeback card, because if your board is gone, then... Alright, well, 6k, 7 cost. Yeah, hybrids can use it, that's true. But yeah, I think A is a solid place for this card. I truly believe that right now Crimson Blaze is the better removal card in the game. Not as flexible for colors, but damn, stopping play by effect is so good. Is that everything? I think we got them all. Blitz Omnimon the Classic, we got Megagamon Ace, the rest of the Paladin Mode Ace cards, Valkyremon, yeah. Shadow Seraphi, got the options. I think this is where we stand. Yeah, I feel good about this. Best stables in the game: Argomon, Ukomon, Omnimon, Death X, Shoto, Analog, Hidden Potential Discovered. It almost just feels like the restricted list looking at this. Almost. Hidden Potential Discovered, yeah, like I said, Red Scramble, or all the Scramble cards, Calling of the Darkness, or Calling from the Darkness, Crimson Blaze, Offensive Training, or all the training, excuse me. A tier is Sunomon. Oh, sorry. In S tier also is Shangri-Man Ruin Mode. Seiji, you know what to do. Yeah, Ruin Mode is here. For some reason, the system did not want him in here, but they can't stop us. Ruin Mode is in S. We all know that. Come on. A is Tsunomon, Psychemon, or no, all Floodgates rather. Sunomon, all Floodgates, Venusmon, Shadow Seraphi, Mecha Gargo, Grand Kawaga, Cherubimon, Edamon, Tai, the Black One, Mimi Tamer, TK Tamer, Davis Tamer, Protoform, all the memory boosts, and Heaven's Judgment. B is Dorimon, Gumimon, Koromon, Wanyamon, basically all the eggs, it feels like. Valk Ace, Paladin Mode Ace, Purple Matte Tamer, Digimon Emperor, Louis Owada, Jack Ray, Blinding Ray, Final Zubagon Punch, High Speed Plug-in D, Hammer Spark and Ice Wall. C is Demi-Marimon, Argomon, Cool Boy, Gravity Crush, X Antibody, Digimon Liberator, the option card, win rate 60%, and then way at the bottom here, in Doo-Doo tier, is Tokomon, Yokomon, Bokomon, damn, Dr. Seuss ass lineup, Chimeramon, Takumi Aiba, red card, Emergency Program Shutdown, Vortex Resonance, wow, I blinked on the name for a second, and blue card. I feel pretty solid with that list. I know that there's a lot of folks out there who probably don't agree, but that's what the comment section is for. You folks know what to do. I'll read them, but I'm not going to agree with you. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, I feel good about this list.